goodness. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tired Witches Book Club. I'm Olivia.
I'm Ashley.
And we are here today to talk all things Boys of Tommen Timeline 2005.
Yes. Ooh, what a year 2005 is.
2005 is such a juicy year. I think that's the most important year we have so far, timeline-wise, for Liz and Hugh.
Yeah, and we've tried to break it down as best as we can. 2005 is a really big year. I mean, when you think about it, you are starting from the very beginning, like Shannon's first week at Tommen, but you're really going even further back than that.
Now, we know that we have stuff in 2004, but it's mainly their breakup era in 2004. And we don't have a lot of canon events in the books yet to go off of that, because binding starts off with Shannon going to Tommen.
Yeah, we've really only seen Joey and Aoife in 2004, so we really couldn't decipher those 9 missing months. But we think we have a pretty good idea, starting with New Year's and going all the way through December of 2005.
Yeah, we've got our canon events stuff in the book, and what we've done is we've paired them with playlists that Chloe Walsh has released on Spotify, specifically playlists with dates that we know fit into the canon timeline.
Are we ready?
I'm
Liv,
ready.
I'm gonna let you start because you're kind of the one that mentioned it all really starts before the 90s party.
It does all start before the 90s party. If you want to pull up that timeline, our little PowerPoint presentation.
Yep, I'm gonna pull that up for us. Alright, so here is our 2005 timeline, Lizzie and Hughie's version. Now, we do want to specify we do have some Feely Katie moments because these are very specifically pertaining to Hughie and Lizzie. Like, they all, what's the word I'm looking for? Bounce off of each other.
They all cohabitate together very nicely. Yeah?
I like that. I like that wording.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, so Liv, go ahead and take it away.
So, New Year's Eve really starts the gambit. We have a few Spotify playlists that specifically say New Year's Eve 2004. So, as you know, that would be going into New Year's Day 2005. Our first place we have is that something happens where Hugh ends up pissing off Katie and the gang when he saves Lizzie New Year's Eve in Biddy's When Troubles kicks off. So, here we kind of start theorizing, and this is theorizing, this is not canon, that Hugh and Katie stopped being a real couple prior to this, or are on the verge of falling out of that we should try being a real couple and more into a companionship type of scenario, right? We have something going down between Hugh, Liz, and Katie in Biddy's New Year's Eve already. And my theory here, I've done a whole TikTok on it, once again a theory, it is not canon, is based on these snippets that Lizzie and Hughie end up bringing in 2005 together, going back to their tradition that they've always had of kissing each other on New Year's Eve. Now, we know that that was the tradition. It was interrupted when Lizzie was off in the mental institution, and he was introduced to Katie. So that is where we start our year, kind of already hinting, in my opinion, how things are going to go this year.
Yeah, no, and I think it's a great parallel. Chloe loves her parallels, and it really would be great because the previous New Year's is really what kind of solidified their ending.
Yeah.
And this New Year's is just kind of a fresh new start.
Yeah, and even keep in mind in the previous New Year's that Hugh was only thinking about Lizzie.
Exactly.
So it is a great parallel that something happens. He ends up maybe having to take her out of Biddy's, which is what makes the gang upset, makes Katie upset, and they end up bringing in the New Year's together. And maybe that is where we start falling back into a push-pull with Lizzie and Hughie, because we know throughout all of 2004 that they really kind of avoid one another, stay away from each other.
Yeah, and then I think New Year's Eve is just the start of we can't hide it anymore. And I think it's the same for Katie and Feely as well.
Yes, yeah.
Just because of a lot of events that we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, agreed.
All right.
So this is your...
All right, the 90s party. 8 days after New Year's. Now, here's the thing, guys. I have been obsessed with this party for years. I've been reading these books since Chloe was indie, and when Redeeming 6 came out, this party grabbed my attention. I've been a big fan of Lizzie for a long time. I've been a big fan of Hughie and Lizzie and just the angst and the secretiveness of it all. And this party really shows that there's a lot going on and not just with Hughie and Lizzie. So basically, let's just start from the get-go. Joey sees Hughie and Lizzie fighting in the kitchen. Joey is so observant, and I think this is so important because, like I said, Joey went to this party at the Biggs house, and he was in the door for maybe 5 minutes, and he clocked this. He clocked this within 5 minutes. Now, other things that are going on throughout this night, we have Casey and Aoife warning Katie, hey, are you worried about the blonde girl talking to your boyfriend in the kitchen? And she laughs it off and says, no, that's a buddy of his. Now, I'm fairly certain by at this point, because of Hughie and Katie's relationship, Katie probably knows a lot of the gist of his relationship with Lizzie. So for her to just be all, that's a buddy of his, it's probably because Katie is worried about things going on over here. Because Katie appears to keep giving them space and time alone throughout this night. An example of this is that Aoife and Joey are broken up at this party, and so the girls are being very protective of her, and they say, if you want to go, we can leave. And Katie is the one that says, I'll have Patrick Feely drive us home. He's one of the good ones. Why would she not offer her boyfriend? She immediately says Patrick Feely, and I found this very interesting because he is known to be a drinker. And so you're going to him, the known, maybe alcoholic, I guess, and saying he's the safe one. So I just thought that was a very important detail. And then also we have Joey calling out Lizzie and Hughie saying they are hooking up, and Lizzie says it is complicated and asks him not to say anything. And we know that this is complicated, but like I said, it's more complicated in a square now. Because now, don't we also know from a playlist or two that Feely does take Katie home, or they're alone in a car or something night?
We do have that playlist of Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake, that something goes down with Katie and Feely in a car after the 90s party. So something happens. Then we also have there's a lot of things happening with Katie and Feely in cars, I feel like.
Oh gosh, that could be a whole segment.
I know.
Katie and Feely in cars. Just dissecting that.
But I think the wording here is so intentional, especially in the conversation Joey has with Liz.
Yeah.
Like, when he accuses her, she doesn't flat out deny it. She's more like, it's complicated, you don't understand, don't tell anybody. If nothing is going on, why would she be like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Right? Especially because Katie already at this point doesn't seem to care.
Right. And, that's what I keep going off of, because I know some people will say, well, she probably just doesn't know who Lizzie is, but I'm like, no. The stuff that I've read in R10 tells me otherwise. That
R10, they have a whole conversation about his relationship with Lizzie.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah, so this night goes on, and then I didn't really put a snippet or anything, but we kind of thought of this after the fact. So this is such a long section of this book. That's why I'm telling you, I knew when this 90s party was introduced and the length of it, I'm like, oh, we are going to see this party again from other perspectives. Towards the end of the night, when Joey and Aoife are in the bathroom, there's someone banging on the door. And Liv, was it you who thought that maybe it could be Pierce? Thinking that she's in the bathroom with Hughie? Because we have to remember the specific wording of the argument between Hughie and Lizzie. And he says you can't seriously be considering going upstairs with him. Yeah.
And so I think we know that in the snippet, so we have it in the slide where there is a snippet of him being like, don't go upstairs. But that's all in the book, right?
Yeah.
It is in Redeeming where Hughie is telling her, hey,
this is canon. This is
canon. He's like, you can't seriously be considering going up. Now, I think that plays off what happened on New Year's.
Yes, please elaborate on that.
Right? So 8 days before, we know that something goes down where Hughie has to rescue Liz. Is it from Pierce? Right? Potentially. Especially when 8 days later, we get this scene of him saying you can't seriously be considering going upstairs with him. If she's in a relationship with Pierce, why would Hughie be questioning her decision to go upstairs with Pierce? If nothing has happened between them where Hughie's like, get away from Pierce, right? On top of that, we have the banging scene. Now, this is Hughie's house, okay? If this was Hughie banging on the door, why wouldn't he be like, get the hell out of my bathroom?
Exactly.
Like, he's in there. No, I think it's Pierce. He thinks that Hughie and Lizzie are in together in the bathroom. We know it's Aoife and Joey.
Oh, Not to interrupt you, but remember one other detail. When Joey opened the door, the guy gave him like a high five, like he was an idiot, you know, congratulating him.
Yeah.
Very Pierce-like
Very
behavior.
Pierce-like behavior,
Yes.
100%. So could they open the door, he sees that it's not Liz and Hugh, and he's like, hey man, you got it, good job.
Yes.
That's a great catch. That's a great
Yes.
catch, Ashley. So I think this 90s party is where we kind of start falling into things getting more hot and heavy between Liz and Hugh. In my theory, in my opinion.
Now, before we get into the next slide, it is important to note that this party is like 2 days before school starts. Yeah. Shannon's first day. Mm-hmm. Now, I did not notice things about Shannon's first day of school until Alive, and we were flipping through it. So, let's get into it.
I love the little Easter eggs we find rereading these books.
Oh, seriously. All right, so Lizzie showed up late that day. Okay, they said she had a dentist appointment. Now, I didn't really think much of this, and then I reread this. Lizzie rolled into school in a boy's school trousers and runners, uncaring of what anyone had to say about her appearance. Now, every single time I have read this book, I just thought it was Chloe describing Lizzie's nonchalant behavior, style, attitude. The more I look at this, the more I think this is telling me that Lizzie probably had a nice little weekend after the 90s party, because there is several playlists or whatever about ironing trousers, right? And I thought the wording here is very interesting. Lizzie rolled into school in a boy's school trousers, and she's not described as wearing boys' school trousers any other time.
Yeah, I agree.
Very interesting.
And we know that she is not manic here. We have a playlist here that specifically states that January, she is stable, okay? So previous to this, she was manic. She's coming out of this. So this is Lizzie. This
Which
is full
would make
Lizzie.
sense and line up if she's got Hughie back.
Yes.
So January was really hard for us to decipher, because you really get the first day of school and then Shannon gets injured and then you skip several weeks. But this first day of school clue I thought was really important.
I agree. February. Oh boy.
I'll let you take it away.
So February here, we kind of get a little bit more. It's still not very heavy in the context canon, right? We've got to really decipher what Chloe puts in binding and keeping and going through the timeline that way. You have to very carefully pull out the snippets that involve Hugh and Liz here, or Hugh with anybody else, because all of that can be a deep dive into the relationship with Lizzie. And so we have right off the bat Hughie and Feely in detention. Hughie is a star student. Why would he be in detention? What has happened to cause both him and Feely to be in detention together? The fact that this is noted in the book tells me that this is going to be an important event that we need to watch out for, you know? We also have Lizzie very excited to spend the day with Pierce, which is unlike Lizzie, right? Usually when it comes to Pierce, she's like, oh yeah, he's here, whatever.
Now, we do have this in Shannon's perspective, so we have to take that with a grain of salt.
Correct. Because we all know that they viewed Lizzie and Pierce as, like, totally being into one another, right? But if after you get releasing and you can dig into the context clues, you can go back into the books and see that that's not actually always the case here, right? Yeah. So she's excited to spend the day with Pierce, and she tells the girls that she recently lost her V card to Pierce. We know that this is a lie, right? Yes. We know that this is a lie. And she makes up this story about losing it in his car. Why, Lizzie? Why would you make up that story? That's, like, not romantic. She really downplays her romantic relationship with Pierce.
And, you know, this was a detail that you and I thought was very interesting because, you know, Lizzie and Pierce have been off and on since her and Hughie's breakup, so they've been doing it that whole time. So for her to just come out with that now, that was just very weird to me.
Yes. And we have several snippets that specifically talk about this one chapter, Explosive Diarrhea. Now, in this chapter, in the book, this is where Brian, the cat, has explosive diarrhea, and Gibbsy comes running over to the girls asking for help, right? And Lizzie's like, I don't want to go see that. That's disgusting. So Claire and Shannon leave Lizzie alone in the Biggs' house, okay? This is very telling because then we get several snippets from Hugh's POV and Lizzie's POV of the specific chapter.
That is extremely important. That tells me for sure we are seeing this scene again, but from another perspective.
We're seeing them together in this scene.
Yes.
Alone at the house.
They've been left alone in that bedroom. It is super important to note.
And the songs here are very The Liars Club. She's lying about what went down with Pierce. Girlfriend, because isn't Hughie like coming back from seeing Katie, or he's going to go pick up Katie?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So this is very intentional. We're definitely getting a scene with them in this context for this chapter. And I'm very excited to see that from their POVs.
Yeah, and like we said, you guys, January and February were really hard to decipher because you really speed through those months in the book. But I really think we're going to get a lot of context to those months, those missing months in the next book. Okay, so March is a doozy. So we have a lot of we have a lot of things going on in March, but particularly it's one weekend in March. So we have separate slides for it. So I will kind of talk about the stuff outside of that because this whole thing is her baby. It's her big thing. Okay, so I thought this was very important to note that Lizzie was out sick the day that Shannon got her period. Now, I just thought, why would you... Like, Lizzie doesn't just ditch school unless she's having something going on, right? And so Lizzie not going to school, I think that's an important clue. And then 2 days before the Dublin trip, which is the big rugby match where Johnny gets injured, Pierce and Lizzie are still together, but she's in a mood. And we have this very interesting scene where I think the dialogue is really interesting because he's begging for forgiveness for anything. Like, he doesn't know what's wrong with her, what he did, and he's just like, whatever you need me to be sorry for. Like, you can see it right over here. It's desperation. Like, he feels like he's losing her, and so he's like, I'm sorry for whatever
I've done. And it's also very intentional because we still know that this is why it's important to note she was out sick. Well, and possibly sick, right? We know here in the statement she says, knowing my luck, Lizzie was out sick. We just know she didn't show up for school, okay? We know that she doesn't show up if something has happened, probably starting her descent into a manic episode, right? But currently, even in the snippet, she is stable. But something may have happened here that is going to start, end of March, a manic descent, right? We know that that's usually what happens. We also have the Spotify playlist here of Liz and Hugh in the library. It is intentionally dated March 2005. So we know that Liz and Hugh, per Chloe Walsh, are meeting up in the library together. Or something's going down in the library with Liz and Hugh, March 2005.
Yeah, but we don't have any other context to that, so we really just can't get in too deep.
I think the only other context we have is that Shannon notes that Lizzie likes to go and hide out in the library.
Okay, true. Very true.
I think that is stated in someone's POV, is that, she's going and hiding out from, like, PE class in the library. She tends to go there. So then the snippet of her being in the library with Hugh tells me Hugh knows that.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and now the big one.
Dublin, my baby. Oh,
Part
Dublin.
one.
Part
we
one.
have a lot of parts of Dublin, guys, but just buckle in. We'll go as fast as we can, but get the important details out.
How I love Dublin. And I want to note an interesting parallel that right before this trip, we have Liz talking to the gang, and Hugh is with Katie at the lunch table, nuzzling her neck. And the second that Lizzie starts talking, he knows that Lizzie's there, he pulls away from Katie, okay? We have then this Dublin trip, where Liz is seen with Pierce, and he is nuzzling her neck, right? That is before they get on the bus in the Dublin trip. Those are very interesting parallels to happen to each other back to back, okay?
Yeah, and I also want to point out, I'm not sure nuzzling is used any other time for any couple.
Oh, interesting.
You know, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I'm going to look that up.
So, the Dublin trip we get from Shannon's POV, and we actually have two separate things here, because here Shannon says that they are giving each other, they're glaring at each other. Liz and Hugh are glaring at each other. This already was at the very beginning of our story, you guys. Tells me something was planned with Chloe to go with the Liz and Hughie route. That they're already giving each other glares, as from Shannon's POV. We then have a second snippet.
Is that I will say, because I know people will come in the comments, that is from the bonus chapter of the Blooms edition. So that was added on. That was not in the original indie version.
Not in the original indie version, but we know that Chloe has cut several things from her books.
Yeah, she has cut a lot. So, just everybody, we know that it came from, like, a newer edition, but, like, 7 Sleepless Nights, all of that tells us otherwise.
Just because it was included doesn't mean it was written later. Does that make sense?
Right.
It could be a deleted that she
Yeah,
took
because I know that when Chloe was indie, she used to share a lot of her writing process, and she's basically been writing bits of everybody's story for years.
Yes.
And so I think for, like, Blooms, it was like, hey, could you put in a bonus chapter? Oh, sure, I already have plenty written. Do this one.
Yeah. 100%. I don't think she's going back in and add it.
And I think it's funny that it's a Hughie Lizzie one.
Yes.
So, because she knew what was going on.
Very intentional. So per this, they're glaring at each other, but then we get a snippet where it says that they give each other heated looks, and when it is announced that they're going to be staying overnight, they look at each other immediately. Why? That's suspicious. That's weird. Why wouldn't you? I'm sorry, but if I'm being told I'm staying overnight, I'm not looking for my ex-boyfriend to be like, hey, what? Like, I'm not doing that. But that's what they do here, okay? And we also know, per Canon, that Lizzie is supposed to be in the room with Claire and Shannon, but we have a Spotify snippet with the chapter waiting in that says, hey, was she though? Did you check, Shan? So it's implied that Lizzie was actually not in bed there with Shannon and Claire. Where was she? Where could she possibly be?
Important to note, I don't know if you said this already, but for those that don't remember, because you're probably wondering, Katie's not here.
Yeah.
Only one class was chosen to be able to go, and it was Shannon's class. So Katie is not here on this trip.
Now we have so many snippets here.
So many.
Much. Like, I feel like this is one of the heaviest parts of Chloe in Spotify, is the Dublin trip. Okay, so we have Back to You, Hugh and Dublin. What's the point? Everyone knows we've got unfinished business. Hugh and Liz, Liz and Hugh. The timeline linking up, cough, cough. Swapping hotels, hotel room swapping. Bad idea, right? Hugh giving Pierce a big F you in Dublin. Now, that's very intentional because, like I said, we saw them in Canon, Pierce nuzzling Lizzie's neck.
Yeah.
So what happens here where Lizzie's now with Pierce? Does Pierce walk in on Hughie and Lizzie? I don't know. This is all theories.
A lot happens on that bus ride, basically.
Yes.
A lot happens.
So this is our first set of snippets for Dublin.
This is just, like we said, this is one of the events that Chloe has put the most playlist for, which tells me very important things happen in Dublin.
Correct. I agree. And we know that here she is stable. She is stable here, okay? Once again, losing bets and clothes. Do they play a game where they lose clothes? Look at this snippet. I love this. Swapping seats and well-placed coats on bus trips. Because we have a snippet of Lizzie going to move seats to go sit next to Hugh in the book, right? That is in the book. Mm-hmm. So... And we also have where she's sitting next to Hugh on the ride back from Dublin, right? Hence the snippet down here. Gibbsy's on the missing list. Shannon was crying. Claire was fussing. Luke was puking, yada yada. Pierce was cutting daggers with his eyes. So Pierce is watching Hughie and Liz sit together. He clearly knows something has gone down. Then we have Liz and Hugh getting messed up in Dublin. A lot goes down here in Dublin. A lot happens. To the point where Pierce is pissed off because something has gone down between Liz and Hugh. He knows it. And Hugh is like kind of chill with it because he's still sitting right next to Liz. He's not pushed her away. She's next to him on this bus ride home. So whatever went down, in my opinion, he doesn't regret because he's the very next day, he's still right next to her.
Now, did we reiterate the fact of when we think they sleep together for the first time?
I think it's 90s party, around the 90s party.
Yes. Yeah, so she thinks it's around New Year's. And then Dublin is just a continuation of them. That's why they're all drunk and it's messy.
Yes. And why he doesn't regret it.
April. Now, April, here is the thing that is hard to say. Because right after that Dublin trip, you have both Johnny and Shannon in the hospital. They are both rehabilitating. So they are both very focused on themselves and each other. And so we don't know what went on with Hughie or Lizzie and both of them during that Easter break. Because it's also important to note that Dublin marked the beginning where they all have 2 weeks off from school. Now, we think things got very messy for Lizzie personally during that holiday break because it's a holiday break. Family members will usually come home for the holidays. So, Liv, I'm gonna let you take that
we
one.
have a very specific playlist where it says Liz begins to spiral after Dublin, okay? So, like I said, we know in Dublin, Liz is on the up and up. She is okay. She's not manic. It is after Dublin that Liz starts to spiral, right? And we believe at this point in time something happens with Mark where he comes back to town. We know, per canon, Mark usually goes to see Lizzie first before anybody else knows he's in town. She's the first one to know he's back, right? So we have a lot here to kind of dissect. It is looking in the context of it to dissect where it could fit into the timeline with Liz and Hugh. That's really what we have to do here. And one of the biggest chapters, in my opinion, is the bust-ups and push-ups, where we have a playlist of Hugh's POV. And the song is You're Somebody Else. So at this point, he's noticing that she's turning back into Manic Lizzie, right? And he is pulling away from her again. We have that here. She appears to be mad at Pierce. She really has a dig at Gibbsy here. This is the first, I think, big fight we see with Gibbs and Liz, where they're going at each other. Lizzie really digs in here, and to the point where Shannon notes it. And Lizzie runs off, and Shannon goes to follow. And this is where Lizzie is kind of crying. That is very interesting. Lizzie is crying at school, you guys. And Shannon's like, hey, are you okay? And Liz, of course, is brushing it off like, I'm always okay, Shan. Yeah, it's fine. And Shannon has a very specific conversation. She says, is everything at least okay between you and Pierce? And Lizzie goes, no, I keep pushing him away. I can't get past it. And so I keep pushing him away. Look at that conversation very carefully. She does not talk about Pierce like that. This has to be in reference to Hugh. That she has pushed him away again. Something has gone down, and she can't get past it here, and she keeps driving him away. Look at what's italicized here.
Yeah,
what is
guys,
focused?
She doesn't give two shits if she pushes Pierce away.
No.
Seriously.
And look at how Chloe words this. What's italicized here? I can't get past it. I keep pushing him away, right? And then she immediately snips because we know that Hugh was beginning to pull away here based on the Spotify snippet. She's like, it doesn't matter, he can go F off. Like, whatever. If he's made his choice, whatever. If he wants to be done, then I guess we're done, right? She would not ever talk that way about Pierce, right? No, Pierce begs her to come back.
Right, exactly. Now, was this like a few days later?
Yeah.
This part? Okay, so this I thought was very, very interesting. So this is literally like a couple days back at school from the break. And Shannon notes Lizzie left very quickly with Pierce, claiming to have a personal crisis. Now, we know that Lizzie uses Pierce and sex with him when she is spiraling. Yeah. And so this just puts more into our claim that Mark has been back recently.
Yes. We also have, very interesting, in canon, this happens here, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that if you lie with dogs, you get fleas conversation with Claire.
Yes, she does. She is in just a full attitude.
And
full attitude. And she hasn't been until this point. And we have this playlist here. Yeah.
Yes. Because Claire goes, hey, my brother's in that group. My brother's in that group of guys. Why would Claire add that if
Lizzie refers to him as a dog.
Yes.
She refers to Hughie as a dog. And so Liv and I were kind of talking about this. And remember, this is just speculation. So what we think is that if Mark came back during the holiday break, Lizzie being Lizzie, because she's been with Hughie the last few months, probably approached Hughie.
Yes.
And he sees her spiraling again. And he will not sleep with her when she is in that state. So then to her, she probably went, fine, screw you. I'm going to go back to Pierce. Hence why we have this whole segment here.
Especially because they're not official.
She can't get past it, and she keeps pushing him away. And then she gets mad. Like, he can screw off. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Because she's
All
like,
right.
I'll go get what I need from Pierce. You won't give it to me? You won't give me my
Exactly.
medicine?
Exactly.
Then I'll go get it where I know is a guarantee, which is Pierce.
Exactly.
Huey finds out about that and pushes her away. Like, if you go back to Pierce, like, this is a big problem. But she mentally doesn't understand why she feels she needs Pierce, right? So she goes back to him anyway. Because she's like, well, you won't give me what I need. You won't give me what I need. I need it. I need it. I need
Yeah,
it.
and then because there is tension between Huey and Lizzie in the spring. So, and this is the start of it, I believe. Okay, now May is the month of the fire. I would like to point out. So May,
And the bridge with Joey, yes?
that's the same day. The day of the fire is quite a string of events. So these are the things that we thought were most important to note about May. Number one is that in Redeeming 6, Katie and Casey are sitting on the wall and they're talking about everything, and they note in a very expensive car, I think a Jaguar,
Damn,
pulls
Felix.
up, and then Katie runs out of the car crying, and they're noting that it's not her boyfriend's car.
Mm-hmm.
And Feely gets out of the car, and Casey, being Casey, she's ready to pop off and fight. And he's like, don't look at me. I don't go around hurting girls. And so we don't know what's going on there, but we kind of have some guesses. And to basically clue you in more, we kind of have to rewind to Huey's 17th birthday. Yeah. So very quickly, Liv, what do you think happened on Huey's 17th birthday that is going to lead to all of these fights,
all of this drama in the summer specifically?
Yeah,
I think something big
and
happened.
This is kicking off the start of the summer.
Yes. So I believe and theorize, once again it is a theory, this is not canon, based on the Spotify playlists that we have, because we do not have a lot of canon in 2004 for this gang, right? We do have a Spotify playlist of Feely showing up to Huey's 17th birthday party with Liz, seeing Katie and Hugh together and being upset, okay? And drinking. I believe at that party, and we know that prior to January, Lizzie is manic. So at this party, she's probably manic at Hugh's 17th birthday party, right? Because we have that Spotify playlist, Liz stabilizing, January 2005. So I believe that Feely and Lizzie sleep together. I think that he gets drunk, she's in a manic state, they see Katie and Hugh together, they're in their feels, and we already know that Feely and Lizzie do have a close relationship with one another. That is canon, and they tend to lean on one another, and I think one thing leads to another, and they end up sleeping together. I think it's a one-time deal where they both realize they messed up, and that they're better off as friends, that they're using each other to cover up their feelings. But I think Feely at this point does try to make something work with Lizzie, because we know that he has had feelings for Lizzie and has felt second best to Hugh their entire friendship, right? So I think Lizzie pushes Feely away, but they still are very close friends here, and Feely kind of has hope that something maybe will happen, because his specific wording towards Casey here of I'm not the one who breaks girls' hearts or makes girls cry is very intentional. That's a dig at Hugh.
Absolutely.
And so we believe here, when Katie's running from the car, she probably finds out that something went down between Hugh and Liz beforehand.
Right. Because one thing we also want to specify, I think the importance of Katie and Feely's relationship is that it's specified that Feely sleeps around. He pretty much sleeps around more than Johnny does. I think that Katie is the actual virgin who will not give it up.
This is both of our theories.
She's holding on tight.
She's the untouchable goddess.
Yes, she is holding on tight to this, as she rightfully should.
Yeah. Don't give it up to the
and
one.
And so I think, like we said, starting New Year's, they're all kind of trying to make things work with their actual people. And Feely probably tells Katie what happened. And probably, I mean, I can't speculate, but to her, it's like, wow, you really will sleep with anybody.
Yeah.
Like, so that stuff is important to Huey and Lizzie's story.
Yes. And we know it's very important to note that Feely and Lizzie spend most of summer together. We have that. That is canon.
Yes. Okay, so then the day of the fire. Like I said, the day of the fire is so much stuff. So much stuff. It starts with Bella beating up Shannon in the bathroom, then Joey showing up, getting arrested. After
Aoife beating up Bella.
Yeah, Aoife beating up Bella. After Joey gets out of jail, thanks to Mr. Kavanaugh, he is defeated. He is so broken and defeated. And this is after the Kavanaughs have offered him and his siblings a home and a family. And he goes to the bridge. And he is just done. And Lizzie is at that bridge. And we wonder why. Now, this is around the time of her sister's anniversary. It's not exactly that time, but it's around that time. But because we think that Lizzie has been spiraling so much lately, and there's so many parallels to Joey and Lizzie, I think they were both on that bridge on that night for the exact same reason. And I think because they both saw each other, they saved each other.
Agreed.
Lizzie seeing Joey saved her life.
Yes. Because we know, Canon, that she wants to be there to support the Lynches.
Yes.
Like, the first day that she gives up her jumper to Joey, like, she finds a purpose in helping Shannon and Joey. So when she saw him at the bridge, she saw it as her purpose to save his life, where she couldn't save her sisters. Yeah,
and so we all know from reading Redeeming Six, Lizzie saved Joey, but I also think it's true for the other way around.
Agreed.
Because Lizzie was, I truly believe in my heart Lizzie was going to try to take her life that night.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so then after the fire, we flash forward a teeny tiny bit, and everybody's in somewhat good spirits. They're making peace because of what has happened, and it is noted that Lizzie and Katie are off to the side, making a daisy chain together. Now, this kumbaya attitude is very short-lived.
Very short-lived.
Very short-lived. So, Johnny's birthday is truly what I believe sets off the whole summer, which is true. In Taming 7, Gibbsie's trauma, literally everything stems from that camping trip.
Yes.
So, this is something that I noted at the beginning of the summer. Shannon notes when they're in the car on their way to the camping trip, everybody minus Johnny and Shannon are in a mood. And she notices Katie first. Katie was in a mood. Gibbsie looked mutinous. Lizzie was her usual raging self. Hughie and Claire had been fighting. The only person who seemed to be himself was Feely, but nobody could really tell what he's thinking anyway. Something was going on. Something that had nothing to do where we were staying tonight. And also, later when they get to the camping spot and everybody's setting up things, Katie, Hughie, and Lizzie are in the biggest moods of all, and Johnny has to give all three of them a talking to, even Katie herself.
Yes. Yep. That's very specific.
Yes.
Involving Katie in that
is
very specific.
Yes. And like I said, I think Katie's mood has a lot to do with what happened here.
Yes, I agree.
Yep. And then we get to the infamous fight with the tents and the water. I'm not going to get too much into it because we've all read it. We all have our interpretations of it.
We all have our different interpretations of it.
The part that I find the most fascinating is that out of every single party involved, the one that is the most angry at Lizzie is Hughie.
Yep.
And Hughie is the one that always made the excuses for Lizzie.
Yep.
So why
even in that scene the month prior where she's having a go at Gibbsie at the table and Shannon pulls her aside to talk to her, Hugh ignores her behavior there. He does not call her, he does not call her out. He sits and watches it happen, right?
Yeah.
This is very intentional.
And I think the wording here was intentional too, where he says, "You never meet it." Hughie muttered.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're all getting tired of hearing that excuse, Liz, which means he's heard it multiple times.
Yeah, he's been hurt by her
and probably heard it recently.
Yeah.
So he's not happy about hearing it here.
Yep, exactly. And we know that Lizzie felt bad about that whole experience.
I mean, it's the first time she calls him Gibbsie in years. She literally says, "Gibbsie, I didn't mean it." Like, she calls him Gibbsie for the first time. She's bawling. She's hysterical about what happened. And this is also very important because who steps in to protect Lizzie from the gang here? Feely.
Now, this is when Feely and Lizzie go off on a walk.
Mm-hmm. He pulls her aside privately and says, let's go off
This
together.
is my favorite part, because this is when all of the people love to argue that Chloe doesn't know her own writing. Because there's a part that is noted that after the walk, Katie and Hughie come out behind a tree all flushed. Now, I don't know about you, but based on all of these events, they're really mad at Feely and Lizzie, right?
Yeah.
They're really mad at them. And so, I don't know about you, but I've read a lot of fake dating books, and there's a lot of play. Like, oh, here, let me...
Oh, you're going to go off with her?
I'll go off with him.
I'll go off with him.
Exactly.
100%. And we know, based on other Spotify snippets, that Lizzie tries to talk to Hughie at certain points, and he pushes her away, saying, isn't that Feely's job now? Go talk to Patrick Feely.
Yes.
Like, and
yeah,
that's even stated in T7, right?
Yeah, he says that at the end of the summer. So, like I said, this is really the catalyst that starts the beginning of the summer. So, we tried really hard, and shout out to all of our people in our lives that tried with us.
You guys are
Summer 2005, there's a lot of missing pieces. We have a lot of August. June and July, however, we don't have a lot. But basically, when T7 picks up, or I guess not T7 really, it's, I think, the Keeping 13 bonus chapter. When Johnny comes back, because remember, Johnny was gone all summer. Everybody's out at dinner. They're having a group time, and Hughie is just, he does not care. He is throwing shade at Gibbsy and Claire and their fur babies and their plans, and Katie's trying to lighten the mood, and he's just like, I am over it. And Johnny's like, what is that? And Claire's like, he has been foul since your birthday.
Yeah.
He has
Which
been
is also
foul
very
with a capital F.
Yeah.
So,
in a mood. Well, we also have a Spotify snippet of Feely spiraling summer 2005, Lizzie spiraling summer 2005. So summer 2005, they're all in a fucking mood.
Yes. So when we get to Taming 7, it is August. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we know that camping trip had so many repercussions for pretty much everybody. Mm-hmm. Because this is when Gibbsy starts his drowning nightmares again. Claire's been taking care of him all summer. So like I said, everybody, because Johnny's been gone, everybody's been kind of in their own little la-la land.
Yeah.
Every single person. And so when everybody's getting ready to go back to school again, they're at the pool, right? Because Claire had her job
She had her job interview,
and Lizzie's a member of the pool. Isn't it like a country club?
Yeah, because she starts taking up swimming as like a therapy thing. She did that in Releasing 10 with Hugh. So she goes, but she's been very intentional of staying away when Hugh works there, which is noted in this chapter.
Yes, that's right. So she shows up at the pool, and from what I remember, she has like this big gash on her thigh. On her thigh. And Claire immediately goes to cutting.
Yes.
But she does not approach Lizzie about this. She talks to Hughie about this, and we have this little snippet right here. That's weird, right? She's not okay, is she? How am I supposed to know? I'm hardly her confidant these days, right?
Important to note, he bites it out, tone thick with emotion.
Yes.
I'm not her confidant. She don't talk to me these days. Well, who is she talking to?
But he does agree to talk to her after this. And from what we know at the beginning of the next camping trip, that talk did not go well. It did not go well. At all. Well, this is basically when he says, Feely can deal with it, I'm done.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So then we have this end of the summer camping trip.
Yeah.
And it's tension again.
And Liz showed up with who?
Liz showed up with Pierce.
With Pierce here.
With Pierce O'Neill. Pierce was not at the first camping trip.
No.
So they were on the outs for that camping trip.
She shows up with Pierce. Is this to Hughie? Is this intentional? I think it is. I think this is all a big game.
It could be, because we have here this playlist, scene with Liz and Hugh in the swimming pool storeroom. So things probably got really heated and tense in that room, and then she probably went, I need a date to the camping trip.
Hey, I know you're gonna set him off. Can you please come with me? Thanks. Click.
Oh, I just have to piss off Hughie? Let me get my sleeping bag.
I know. Let me get the one person that I know is a game on scenario for Hugh.
Yes.
Oh, he really hates Pierce.
Now,
we see that more in Taming 7, his anger towards Pierce.
Now, we don't have any canon to go off of this, but we do have playlists that pertain to swapping tents.
Yes.
And so we think it's
Lots
this
of swap.
camping trip.
Yes. Why? It doesn't make sense that it would be Johnny's. We know that everyone is raging at each other. Johnny's camping trip.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't make sense that there would be swapping there, especially when they leave that going into summer being angry with each other, right?
And this is so stupid, but I noted this a while ago. Katie and Feely give each other this weird signal at the fire. Like,
oh yeah, you had this thing.
I
for
don't
such a
know
long
why
time.
this would be noted if it wasn't intentional. But basically, Katie gives this really long yawn, and then Feely matches it. It's just, why would you write that in there?
Yeah.
Why?
Signal. Time to go.
Time to go to our tent.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the end of summer. And then we go to the first day of school. We really only have the first day of school, by the way, for September, because things just get rolling. So
But it's a heavy day.
it is a heavy day, and I would like to note you see a lot of this day from Joey's perspective.
Yes. So we know here Katie's not at school. She went home early due to period pains, right? She left early that day. So Feely and Liz have what is deemed in the book by other people as a very unusual interaction between Feely and Lizzie. Very unusual. They get into it, right? They get into an argument. I don't even think, you've got to remember POVs, because even the POV here, I don't see it as an argument. I see it as Feely being hurt. Lizzie's done something to hurt Feely. And that is why we get his reaction here of, say it, and she's like, he doesn't want to say it, and she's like, damn it, Patrick, just say something to me. He is upset with her over something, right?
Yeah, and
that
then
is where he
she's
goes,
very sad, like, with
she's
sad,
very
it makes it, it hurts to look at her, or something like that.
but not nearly as much as being near you hurts.
Yes, that's right.
And you cut anyone who gets too close. Very intentional. That tells me...
Oh, here it is. I think you have the loneliest blue eyes I've ever seen, and looking at you hurts, but not nearly as much as being near you hurts.
That tells me that he tried to get near her, and she cut him with her jagged edges. So, something has gone down, end of summer, to cause this kind of rift. I think this is the beginning of the rift, because you see the Feely behavior start changing here.
Yes.
You know?
So I actually noticed this, like, last week or the week before. I think it's really interesting that Katie went home early the first day of school, because this coincides with this whole argument at lunch. And I'm wondering if Katie going home early has to kind of maybe do with Feely's mood.
Well, and Feely's... I think it has...
I think they all
kind of...
it's a web, and I think they're all... But I think Katie... It's very weird. Who goes home early the first day of school? And like I said, go back to January. Why are these people showing up late? Why are these people going home early? It's weird to me.
What an interesting school. What an interesting
For for a private school that's really hard to get into, you guys are just, like, leaving on the whim.
Now, the other big thing that happens at the same time is Hugh and Pierce.
Yes. Hugh and Pierce have a fight at lunch with Lizzie just watching.
Yes. And it's very specific that Lizzie just remains motionless in her seat while watching Hugh and Pierce kind of dig at each other.
Yep.
And he's like, what's your problem, Biggs? He's like, you're my problem, O'Neill. Do you hear my tummy growling? I'm hungry.
Oh, I know. I am too. I'm so ready for a nap, man. We gotta earn it, though.
Tired witches!
We're almost there. Okay. All right. And then, like I said, September, we really don't have much. We just fast forward October.
Oh my god.
All right. So we know from this new snippet that was brought to us the beginning of the summer, that day at the coffee shop is going to have a lot of repercussions.
It really is. Yeah. That coffee shop where Liz and Gibbsy have a big blow up. They really get into it here. And this is kind of where you start seeing the cracks of... I think this is the cracks between Claire and Lizzie were already showing here, like before Winter Ball. I think they really start showing even more... This is where it really becomes evident that there's a problem with their friendship in this fight scene with Liz and Gibbs, right?
Now, October is also when Mark returns, and the instant that Hughie learns he has returned, he does not waste any moment. He dashes across the street, pins him to the wall, and says, stay away from her.
Yes. And stay away from her. Everyone even Mark is like, I'm not going to go near your sister. And Hughie says, I'm not talking about her. I'm not talking about her. Mm-hmm. What has gone down here that, in my opinion, this is Hugh starting to piece things together. I don't think he fully knows what has happened between Mark and Liz, but I think he's got an inkling that Mark is weird with Lizzie. Maybe something happened over summer that he saw Mark and Liz interact with one another, and he's like, this is once again very weird, because he clocks it all through R10. He's so close, Hugh, baby, you're so close to putting it together, boo-boo. Like, you're always right there at the cusp of like, why are you touching her? That's real weird.
I know, and I think that's partly why he's sick. Mm-hmm. Because he was so close to so many things.
Yep.
So many things. So this is kind of just like the gist of October. We have a separate slide for Halloween.
Yes, and Hugh's 18th. But also here we get Feely telling the gang that he's agreed to take Liz to Winter Ball. She asked him and he said yes. Yep. Once again, very interesting because we know that a month prior, Feely said it hurt to be around Liz. With her jagged edges, she cuts people who gets close to her. So he's agreed to take. So this tells me that, once again, maybe there's a push-pull here with Liz and Feely. Where Feely can't stay away from Liz. He wants to help her, you know? He wants to be what Hugh was to her, of like this soft source. And unfortunately, we know that the only person that can be that for her is Hugh.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so Hughie's 18th birthday. A lot of things happen on Hughie's 18th birthday. Okay, so I guess we'll just kind of go in order of the event.
I think we know that the outfits were planned by Claire. Very intentional. Yes. Because we have a snippet of Claire and Katie talking about planning the outfits. Claire says that she's going to put Liz with Feely, and they're going to go as Gomez and Morticia. And Hugh does not like that. He's like, I don't see it. I don't get it. Because we know that they dressed up as Gomez and Morticia in prior years, right? So the fact that Claire has Feely and Liz do this is kind of strange.
That's shady. That was a little shady.
It's a little shady,
That was Claire. A little shady, I'm going to say. All right, so we have everybody's costumes. Now, I do have a TikTok where I broke down everybody's costumes because the wording here confuses people. Yes. But don't worry, we'll break it down for you. So we have Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn had the Joker pinned to the side of my brother's parked car. This is Aoife and Joey. And I thought this was really interesting because Joey is at a place in his life where he doesn't want to fight people anymore. It doesn't pertain to him. He basically has a wife and a kid, right? He doesn't need to get into these scuttles. So why would he? Well, it's very set up in R10 and R6 that Joey is going to be this protective big brother figure for Lizzie. Yeah. Now, Chloe, being the awesome superstar that she is, at the beginning of the summer, she shared class schedules with everybody. And on those class schedules, it showed that Joey shares a class or two with Pierce. Now, Pierce is an idiot, okay? There's no
typical jock boy.
He's a jock boy. He high-fives people for gross and stupid things. He is stupid. And so Olivia's theory from the very beginning has been that Pierce's downfall is going to be Pierce.
Yes.
Because he can't keep his fucking mouth shut.
He's the typical running his mouth jock.
Yes, and so whether this was at the party earlier that night or maybe perhaps in class, Joey overheard something.
Yeah.
Because Joey is not going for Mark, I would like to point out. He is not going for Mark. So then let's continue on with this. Juliet wept into her hands and Romeo tried to console her. So that is Shannon crying and Johnny trying to protect her. On the other side of my brother's car, Gomez Adams was dipping Vivian Ward, having shielded her from a rogue beer bottle. So that is Feely protecting Katie. Then we have Edward Lewis straddling a dark cloaked stranger on the front lawn. Now that is going to be Hughie straddling Mark. To top it all off, Morticia Adams had decided this was her ample opportunity to throttle Danny Zuko, which is going to be Lizzie taking her chance to have a fight with Gibbsy, while Uncle Fester was looking on gormlessly. And this is Pierce. Now, Olivia, I don't know about you, but have you ever heard the word gormlessly before?
Never.
No, okay, so I looked it up, and apparently it's like an aloof, like, this look of stupidity, like, what's going on? But, like, you have this grin on your face.
Pierce. Sounds like
This
Pierce.
night is so wild, and it's this paragraph right here. Just this paragraph.
Yeah.
So, like I said, a lot of things happen on the night of Hughie's 18th birthday. A lot of things happen. And I think that this is the night that Hughie finally learns what happened between Pierce and Lizzie.
Yes.
And this is why he shows up sick to school the following week.
I also want to note that this playlist that Chloe released is very specific of Hugh jumping in to defend Liz by beating the shite out of Mark.
Yes.
What does Mark say
Yes.
that invokes Lizzie's name here to cause Hugh to snap? Mark shows up and I think says something about Liz.
Yes, and so also, I didn't put the snippet here, but after this whole scuttle on the front lawn and the Allens come out and are just absolutely ridiculous, they send Hughie off, and I believe Sinead takes Lizzie up to Claire's room.
Yes.
So Lizzie is put in one of the Big's bedrooms for the night.
Yes.
And so a lot happens after this. Gibbsy storms off and Feely and Claire go to look for him. Lizzie is upstairs alone. Hughie has stormed off. And so we think this is when they start opening up to each other.
Yes. She starts spiraling here because Mark has returned. And we know that the return of Mark always starts a spiral. And this is where we start getting...
Well, I don't think it's a start of a spiral, because I think she's been continuously...
Yes.
She's just been this since spring.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is what really causes the stark behavior we get in December, though.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
This is what is the catalyst for that.
But what we think is starting with this night on, Hughie and Lizzie are fully together. And we also think that Katie is aware of it.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think they're together. I think he makes it a point to put Lizzie first. He's saying, I'm going to go look after her. I don't think they're in a relationship.
Right, but we kind of had thought, because obviously we've said this whole year, Hughie and Katie's relationship is not a relationship.
Yeah.
We've seen playlists that Hughie has a hard time being intimate with people that are not Lizzie.
Yes.
And so I really think that after this night, this time through the winter ball, Katie's fully aware of what's going on. Like she knows this relationship it's dead.
Yes.
It's
I think that
completely dead.
I don't think Hughie and Liz are in a relationship.
Yeah, that's what
point.
I'm getting at. Like I think this is the start of him leaving Katie behind and focusing solely
on Liz.
You know, yeah.
And especially trying to figure out what else he doesn't know about Liz. Right?
Yes.
I think the Pierce thing opens his eyes of he needs to go back and start doing more digging. And we know Hughie does his digging. We know Hughie does his research. So I think that's when he kind of is like, sorry, I cannot focus on Katie. My focus is Lizzie.
Yes, because here's the thing, guys. It's very important here, because if we truly believe that this is when Hughie finds out about Pierce, you have to remember that the only reason that Hughie broke up with Lizzie was because he believed that she cheated on him. Yep. Cheating was his one thing.
Cheating on him from Lizzie.
Yeah,
Lizzie.
He said, don't ever cheat on me.
Yes.
And so for him, that's been his thing. We fully believe that's why when they start getting together in the winter, he can't fully commit to her because she's hurt him to him. Now, when he finds out that it's not clear cut and dry, that's when he can't. He doesn't need Katie as a shield anymore.
Yeah, and he's gonna wanna fix things, and he even says in Taming 7, I'll fix it, I'll solve it.
Yes, because at this point he has let 2 years go by without the love of his life.
Yep, and he's got to start questioning everything. He has to start questioning everything he knew is not correct. You know?
Yeah, and this is why we said we think they just have a huge conversation and so much comes out.
Yes.
Now, so there are some people that speculate this is the night that Hughie and Lizzie have their first time, and that's totally fair because of the fact of the birthday.
Yes.
You know, they had made that deal. However, we have to look at everything. There is too much going on for them to have this all healing romantic moment together.
When Lizzie's spiraling.
When Lizzie is
When
spiraling.
Lizzie was screaming bloody murder when Mark landed on her. Why would Hughie look at that and go, yeah, this is my shot to get it. Like, it's not a healing moment, especially since we know it doesn't heal Lizzie. She only gets worse after this night.
Yes, absolutely. That's why it makes no sense to me. That's why, there's a lot of discourse, and her and I could be absolutely wrong, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But the fact is that there is too much evidence showing that they have been getting really together for a long time and not just kissing.
And I really want to specify that Chloe is not going to make sex with Hughie and Lizzie as a healing moment.
No.
That goes against everything she's put with Lizzie, because that is the language Mark has used to gaslight, manipulate, and abuse Lizzie for years.
And
was that
also,
he was her medicine, she needed sex as a medicine.
Well, and also I think the fact that Hughie was so obsessed with planning it, which is why I think it's not going to be a planned moment.
Yes, I agree.
It happens quickly, and that's what I
agree. And I think it goes against Chloe and the narrative she's building with who Lizzie is. Lizzie cannot have a healing moment with sex when the truth about Mark is not known. That's just the bottom line.
Exactly. And if you look at the other couples too, they all have very different underlining emotional themes with their first time.
Yes. And none of the first times are really that romantic, except for maybe Joey and Aoife.
No, I think Joey and Aoife's was like a healing moment, but I think that's what people are stuck on, is people are trying to compare Joey and Aoife so much to Hughie and Lizzie. And I get that because there are similarities, but you can't compare every single thing and think it's going to be the exact same situation, but reversed.
Agreed.
It's not fair to the writing. And then you can't get mad at the author when she doesn't do it that way because you built it up in your head to be that way.
Agreed.
But yeah, like we said, guys, there's way too much.
Mark is back. Hughie's fighting Mark. Something goes down with Pierce. Something goes down with Feely, Pierce, and Lizzie. Is that the catalyst of Pierce running his mouth at Halloween? Is that what Joey overhears? Like, there's so much that could be happening this night that I don't believe this is the first night that.
Yeah, and so, like, I know this playlist right here could be a little confusing. Hughie waking up the morning after his 18th. What have I done? I think that is, what have I done? Why did I break up with Lizzie? What have I done? I've
been calling her a liar for years. I've blamed her for something that was not true. I've pushed the woman away that I love more than anything itself. What have I done?
Yeah, that's what I think that is.
I agree.
I think a lot of people look at that and think, oh, he's feeling that after cheating on Katie. No, I think that is...
Especially because we have a Spotify snippet of her, Lizzie, kind of grinding up on Hughie and is like, do you regret me? Do you regret this? And he says, no, I don't. I don't regret it.
Right.
Like, exactly. So he doesn't regret sleeping with Lizzie. That's not anything that he's ever going to regret. He's going to regret not trusting or believing in Lizzie.
Right. But like we said, his whole reasoning for ending this relationship was because of this event. When he finds out the truth behind this event, that is exactly what is going to lead us here.
Yes. Oh boy, do I love this. So we know that literally, 2 days after, the following Monday, we get back to school. We get him back into school. And Katie basically says that Hugh's been in a mood and sick all weekend after his birthday, right? Hugh's in a mood, they're at the table, and he gets up. His wording is very specific here. He says, stay away from me, because she tries to go. She's like, oh, let me come with you. He's like, no, you need to stay away from me. And she does end up following after him. But I think the wording here is very intentional. Once again, you have to really look at the clues that Chloe is lying down here, right? Mm-hmm. This is after the conversation that Gibbs has with Hugh in the kitchen that night, where he says that he's in some Joey Lynch type of trouble. But Hugh does not say that he is in Joey Lynch type of trouble. Gibbsy asks him, is it the Joey Lynch type? Hugh never says yes. I think a lot of people
I'll fix it.
Yes.
That's what he says.
Yes. And that he can't talk about it. He can't talk about it because it involves Liz.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to go blabbing Liz's business around,
And then I believe this same week, the girls are in Claire's room talking about it. And I think Shannon's all freaked out because Johnny could get mono, from Hughie. And Lizzie is so nonchalant, he doesn't have mono. Well, how do you know? And I just know. Yeah. He doesn't have mono.
Even at this table, the gang is on Hugh about how he's feeling, and Liz is like, leave him alone. He's fine.
Yeah. This is why we think they have opened up.
Yes.
They have fully opened up to each other.
And Hugh gets up and leaves, basically telling Katie not to follow. Katie does follow. At this point, Liz suddenly, she's literally there and she's like, I'm gonna go get some fresh air. And she gets up and leaves as well. Is she going to follow Hugh and Katie? Is she going to go be with Hugh? Probably. But we don't have a lot here to go off of in November.
Yeah, November skips through pretty quickly. Now, November is when Claire and Gibbsy do it for the first time in the treehouse. Now, we did not put it here because we're not quite sure. There is a playlist about while Claire and Gibbsy are in the treehouse, Hughie and Lizzie are in the house. We don't know if it's this night or if it's another night.
Yes.
But
because there is another treehouse scene of Claire and Gibbs in the treehouse at the end of the year. I feel it fits more to go there than it does here.
Yes. And
based on, we know, Hugh's attitude here and Liz's attitude here.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion, fit here.
Yep. So, December. December's a rough one, guys. December is very sad.
Yes.
So,
it's hard to reread.
It is very hard to reread. So a few days before the winter ball is basically when a lot of friendships are shattered.
Yes.
And there is a line drawn. During this blow up, basically, Lizzie is spiraling. Okay? Because we know she's been spiraling a lot. And she is just like, Huey's holding on to her. Johnny tosses him his keys and said, get her out of here. So they leave the property. Just the two of them. Now, the one thing I think is important about this, and this is why I truly believe that Katie knows kind of a little bit about what she knows her boyfriend is not with her anymore. She gives him a knowing look.
Yes.
Like, because Claire notes that Huey looks over to Katie and she nods or something like that. And then they leave.
Yeah.
So I think the winter ball is Katie and Huey's like final swan song.
Yes.
Like, publicly, they're together this one last time.
I agree. I agree.
And so this is everything building up to the winter ball.
We know Lizzie is done. She's in a manic state here. She is spiraled. She is, like, clearly not well here. It is very evident that Lizzie is in a manic episode. And I think the catalyst was Mark in returning in October. And it's just been slowly building up. And then this is the big blow-up portion of it.
Yep. Okay, and then the winter ball.
Man, do I hate the winter ball. I'm not excited to read about this again. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm really not excited to read about this again, even in Huey and Lizzie's POV, because it's not good. Yeah. There's nothing in here that's going to be good.
Yeah, because it's the winter ball that really changed my opinion on Claire. Because I liked Claire. Yeah. I really, really liked Claire. And this is why I'm hoping that there's going to be there's going to be a big apology tour.
Yeah, a lot of character growth from Claire's end needs to occur after this.
Yeah. So, the winter ball. Claire has ended her relationship with Lizzie before the winter ball. That fight in the Commons is when she said, we are not friends anymore.
Yeah.
Because I know that when the girls are getting dressed and stuff, Shannon says Lizzie's going to be there, and Claire just has an attitude about it. And, and Shannon's like, we're all friends here, you know?
Which is also interesting because you would think Lizzie would be there. We know that Feely was taking her to the winter ball.
Yes, exactly. So, now we also know the winter ball is when, I'm going to be very quite frank, Claire screwed up that night.
Yes. She
screwed up. Her best friend Shannon told her not to do it this way. And because of what she did, it caused so much turmoil. I firmly believe because of the way that she outed him is why the whole school knows. Why he's so scared to go back in the new year anyway. Before we take a huge detour here, I just want to say, guys, my big theory going into Healing 7 is that I think Claire and Gibbsy are going to break up. Yeah. I think because of Claire's actions here, they didn't really have a chance to come to terms and talk about what she did. And I think they resolved it very, very quickly. The ending of that book had a lot of whiplash. And so I think when we pick up with them in the new year, I don't think Gibbsy's going to be able to get through day-to-day life.
Yes.
With that happening.
Agreed.
And so, like I said, Claire starts this whole fight thing, and the reason for it is because Claire and Gibbsy went to the common rooms so they could sneak around. And when they are in there, they hear Huey. And I thought this was funny because it's in Gibbs's perspective. And so he's like busted. And then they realize it's not Katie that he's with. Now, this is why I think the wording is very interesting. Show me. No. Fucking show me. Why do you care? You know why. I can't do this anymore. And so we're wondering, what do you think he wants to see?
Yeah. It could go.
There's a lot of theories.
Ways. Yes.
A lot of people theorize scars.
Yes.
Some people theorize Polaroids.
Polaroids or even pills.
Pills, yes.
Pills.
Yeah, there's a lot because we do know in R10, Hughie did want to see her medicine a lot.
Yes, because she stopped taking. And we know that in the common room, if you go back to the previous slide, it shows that Hugh notices that Liz is spiraling and manic. Is this where he's like, she's clearly not taking her meds? Show me your meds. Show me that you're doing it. Show me you're taking your meds.
Yeah.
And the wording here is very intentional. She says, I can't do this anymore. And he goes, and I can? This is wrecking me. You are wrecking me, Lizzie. Like, this is fair. There is something between October and December where Hugh has thrown his card back into Liz. And he's like, babe, you're hurting me again.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is a new development that we found yesterday. And because we've been rereading the Winter Ball scene the last couple days, and I kind of had to step in for Olivia because it was killing her.
It was killing me, you guys. I couldn't do it no more.
It was destroying her. So I stepped in, and I thought
our voice memos to each other.
Oh, God. Guys, I thought this was really interesting here. So when Claire reveals Gibbs's truth and talks about the letter, Lizzie goes, how dare you? There's no other letter. And I'm like voice memoing Liv. I'm like, does Lizzie not remember giving him a letter?
Yeah.
Or does she not know what it was that she handed him? Yeah. Now, we know Lizzie's mind is not a reliable narrator to herself.
To herself. She questions everything.
And so that was obviously a terrible, rough time. And so she could have easily forgotten that she gave him something. But I thought this was super interesting, especially because I feel like the letters have been such a hot topic lately.
Yes.
It's such a hot topic, not just between other content creators, but you and me as well. We have our own theories about the letters. And this right here, this letter thing gives me such a headache.
There's no other letter. But Lizzie, you gave him a letter, boo. You gave him a letter.
You gave him a letter, and then when he said he can't help you, you ended the friendship right then and there. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, did she block it out? Because God, there's no other letter. These
unless
are
she's
things that keep me up at night, guys.
Unless she's referencing, like, there's no other letter than the one I gave him, but she doesn't know what was in.
That's what I'm saying. This is weird because. Yeah. Right before this snippet, they're talking about because Lizzie kept going, I read my sister's letter. Mm-hmm. I read my sister's letter. There is no other letter. So this is weird, guys, and this is the stuff that keeps me up at night because I have no book release to look forward to.
Chloe, what are you doing, girl? At least tell us to go eat grass. Go tell us to get out, go get a life, and stop caring. You're not getting the book for a while. For nothing, Chloe. Give it to me, please, Chloe. Show it to me, Chloe.
No, seriously. But guys, this is really what we have for you. I think there's a few playlists like teasing Christmas and
something goes down with Christmas.
Yeah,
and something big. But all that is a theory, right?
That is a theory. Well, this video we focused on what is in the books.
Correct. Pairing canon with the snippets we have.
Yes, that is
what we're focusing on.
Yeah.
After this, we have no canon. We have nothing canon.
We are caught up in the timeline now.
Correct. So all of the snippets that we have, you have to theorize what they mean, really.
Yes.
And that's not what this video is about. This video is what Chloe Walsh has given us timeline-wise for 2005. And this is all we have.
With a few theories of what we think why they are where they're at.
Yes.
In that spot. And like we said, these are our theories. We could totally be wrong. We love having fun and doing this. No one is the all-say of the Boys of Tommen fandom.
No. All of this, you guys, if you've been in our lives with us, we came up with a lot of this together. This is a group effort with the Tired Witches Book Club that we do live on TikTok on Thursdays. Like, we were putting this together. Everyone was like, here's this, what do you think of this? Like, there's so many light bulb moments we go, and that's the fun thing about this fandom. It's supposed to be the fun thing about this fandom, right? Is that we're in this together. It's supposed to be fun and engaging, not a competition of whose theory is correct versus that, you know?
No,
or
and
we're the only ones you need
pretty
to
nasty.
listen to.
It's gotten very nasty this summer, and Olivia and I, we want to create a different kind of community. You know, Olivia is newer to this fandom, and I hate that for her. I really do. I really wish that she could see what this fandom used to be, because she's really only gotten to experience a lot of the negativity. But Chloe was very open with her readers. Her Facebook group was called Chloe's Clovers, and she had discussions with her readers, with her followers. She really appreciated the input. That's a huge reason as to why she had the fan poll in the first place. She let her readers decide the name of Redeeming Six. She just really, really cares about her readers. And so I'm sure it's very heartbreaking for her to watch what this series has done. I mean, she even said at the beginning of the summer, she created a monster. And so we want to try and bring that positive community back.
Yes, 100%. But we know that our lovely group has been waiting it's been a long time coming for this.
You guys have been so patient, and we really appreciate you. Part of the reason she is such a great business partner is I truly could not work with somebody that didn't understand my need to take a nap every day.
I know! The importance of napping and energy drinks and coffee.
Seriously, because I will collab with a few other book friends, and oh my gosh, over the years, I'll be like, well, I gotta take a nap, guys. And they're like, okay. Whereas Olivia will be like, when do you want to take your nap
I know!
today?
We plan our naps together. We know each other's nap schedule now because we're on the same nap schedule.
Yes, but if you want me to be pleasant, I have to.
We need our naps, you guys. We definitely do.
I have to.
Then we stay up all night reading books and talking theories. And
yes, most of our theories come to us in the middle of the night.
100%, yes.
Yeah.
That's how unhinged we are.
Like we said, we're so appreciative of you guys, and those of you guys that came to listen to this or watch it. I know you've been waiting for it for a while, but this really, truly was a group effort.
It was.
We could not have done this without you guys, and we will do more of these.
We're tired witches.
Yes. In fact, we are going to be getting ready very soon for a Devil's Night reread. Woo! We are so excited. So we will be doing podcasts for that. We're gonna do our live shows. So if you just found us, we go live on TikTok every Thursday at 7 PST. And we're gonna do a lot of our Devil's Night stuff over there. Play some games, talk about the foreshadowing. So it's a reread. So there's going to be a lot of spoilers. Yes. So if you're wanting to read the series for the first time, I would wait to watch those podcasts until after you've read them all.
Yeah. But you can join our live and talk about it with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. What did we think about the Lizzie Hughie era 2005? How long do we think this is going to be in the books? I think we have to spend a good chunk of 2005. We really do.
I think our theory was when the book picks up, we're probably going to brush through summer very quickly. We'll probably have a nice little chunk of fall because we need to really see that last chunk of school before Shannon changes the dynamics of everything.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, but I think 2005, I think much like Redeeming Six, we're going back again because we have to cover those timelines.
We have to see it from Lizzie and Hughie's POV. It just has to happen.
And we're going to see it again from Katie and Feely's. Chloe wrote this series in this way for a reason. Yeah. Because here's the thing. What I love about this series versus other companion novel series is the truth is it's more realistic that things are happening simultaneously, right? Instead of, oh, hey, this couple got together here. In 3 years, this couple will get together. But they're all still friends. I don't know. This is fun. And it creates homework.
It creates homework, and it's fun to put timelines together and to figure out what was going on with this couple at the same time that this is going on with this couple. You know, Chloe, while she has taken a step back from the fandom because of how toxic it's gotten, she still tries to make it fun for us and engaging. So I don't mind that we go back in timeline because, in my opinion, we get new stuff. We get new POVs, we get new... And it's all very important to the story. So I love it. I'm excited for it. Chloe, give it to me, please.
Well, and not only that, but it gives so many different ways to read the series. Because we all love rereading it. It gives you multiple different ways.
Yes, agreed.
Like, hey, if you want to read in timeline order, but you only want to read Joey and Aoife and Hughie and Lizzie, like, you know, you could do it that way. It's just, it's a lot, but it is truly fun, and I have to say that it's because of that I became friends with you.
I know.
Because we were trying to talk about certain things that was going on with Lizzie around Dublin.
Yeah. Dublin!
Yes! We're going to have a party in Dublin.
Oh my god, I can't wait. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. Check out, we will have new podcast episodes every Monday, so you guys can listen to it throughout the week while you're at work and whatnot, or at school.
Real quick, so Liv, where can people find you?
Oh, so they can find me on TikTok at A Girl and Her Cats down here. And we also have a Bookstagram at the Tired Witches Book Club, which will also have a LinkedIn for our personal Bookstagrams as well.
You should drop your threads too. You post some funny stuff on there.
Oh, do I?
Yeah. She's got some good takes over on threads.
I do. Well, you know me and my big mouth.
That's partly why we have this podcast.
I know!
And you can find me... I can't keep quiet. Yep, and then you can just find me. I am Archives of Ashley all over the place. TikTok, Bookstagram. Yes. I do have my own BookTube channel over here. I have a lot of Boys of Tommen reading vlogs. Yes. So, just... like I said, you can find us.
And a lot of our theories are on TikTok.
Yes, a lot of our theories are on TikTok.
Yes. So.
But just look for episodes weekly. But if you really kind of want to know what we're doing now, we're most active on Bookstagram and TikTok.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you very soon. Have a good one.
Thank you.